Now we're going to talk to Representative Marcy Kaptur, one of the most progressive Congress people in the country. Congresswoman, it's a great pleasure to have you on the Young Turks.
Thanks, Jake, very much. How you been?
Excellent, excellent. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Well, you got to be feeling good because it looks like some action that you took might have had a good effect. Tell us about the petition on Goldman Sachs and what appears to be the result today.
Well, last week we delivered to the Attorney General of the United States, Eric Holder, a letter from members of Congress, 62 members, asking the Department of Justice to begin criminal investigation and prosecution in Goldman Sachs and other companies related to the subprime mortgage crisis. We saw the SEC case that was filed was a civil case, and we were concerned that if cases moved forward and evidence was presented in a civil case, it might become inadmissible down the road in a criminal case. And we believe that the magnitude of the crisis warranted a look at control fraud, fraud at the highest levels, because of the amount of damage that's been done across this country and, frankly, around the world. As a result of that, what happened is that the MoveOn.org and the Progressive Campaign Committee put the letter online, and within a couple days we had 143,000 signatures of people around our country joining us in our efforts to get the Attorney General to proceed forward. And then it was announced today that in New York, the U.S. Attorney appears to have indicated that they are beginning investigations. And my bottom line really is that even if they're beginning, we must recognize the Department of Justice is terribly understaffed to do thorough investigation. When this mess started back in 2008, they only had 75 financial fraud agents and white-collar crime agents at the FBI. Today, we're not sure if they have maybe 200, 300, but when the S&L crisis happened 10 years ago, they had 1,000. So we need to have beefed up investigation and prosecution at the FBI, the SEC, and the FDIC. But we are making some progress, but we feel good, but we need to feel a whole lot better.
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's not an accident that those enforcement agencies have less people at them. We had 8 years of the Bush administration where they actively made sure that they got rid of enforcement so that their corporate sponsors can do better and better, as we wound up doing worse and worse. And yes, it appears, the reports are that the SEC has handed this case off for possible criminal prosecution to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan. What I wanted to ask you about is, why do you think it's a criminal case?
Why do I think? Because of the amount of damage that's been done. For example, we have communities out here in Ohio that are totally empty of citizens now. Those homes lost their entire value. People have lost their entire equity. In addition to that, we know that in 2001, the only case really filed, the largest case in American history filed against one of these banks that started this from Illinois, a $450 million fine was levied on it. That's the only major case that's been litigated. And they were shut down from litigation during this past decade. So where we know investigation was pursued, we know that huge fines were put on at least that particular company, Superior Bank from Hinsdale, Illinois. Here locally, in Ohio where I represent, the reduction in property values has been significant. The losses associated with this subprime manipulation has resulted in high unemployment. It has resulted in people losing their pension funds, their 401k funds. The amount of damage done is huge. That's why I believe it's criminal, and probably up at the level of control fraud, where you concoct a system like Enron did, where it looks good for a while, but then all of a sudden the underlying assets can't possibly reflect the value of what you're selling. That's fraud. And now what we have to do is unwind it. So I would say what leads me in that direction is the magnitude of the meltdown. and the damage and the losses people have suffered.
I know that there was at least 5 transactions where totaling $4.5 billion where it seemed like they bet against their clients. So they set up these assets which they know are going to go under, and they make bets against them and win $4.5 billion. But I think it's even larger than that. The entire AIG backdoor bailout that went to Goldman Sachs, $13 billion, that seems like that was shorting assets that they had also put together, and that they were kind of setting up this junk and then betting against it. But what makes the AIG backdoor bailout is so particularly egregious is that it came from us, the United States taxpayer. We're the ones that paid them on that. So along those lines, one, should be looking at getting that $13 billion back.
I think that we should get back not just TARP money, but punitive and compensatory damages, you might say. We need to claw back, and one of the reasons I'm interested in this criminal investigation of many companies on many levels is with criminal investigation, you can go and you can enjoin the boards of directors, the CEOs of these companies. You can claw back to their personal assets, and you can mete out more justice from the American judicial system than on the civil side. So I think with AIG and with Goldman and whatever relationships they had in London, which we don't know yet, a lot of those documents have not been made available to the Congress. And originally Goldman, claimed it had no relationship to AIG. I don't know if you knew that or not. But then, of course, it was proven that it did. And the other firms that benefited from federal taxpayer largesse, I think, also have to be examined. So I say this is a very long book, and we're at page 1. We have to unwind it.
We're talking to United States Representative Marcy Kaptur from Ohio. Congresswoman, the final line of questioning there then is about the documents we can't see from AIG, about the $13 billion that was given of taxpayer money to Goldman Sachs through AIG. The guy who made all those decisions and continues to make those decisions is unfortunately the Treasury Secretary right now, Tim Geithner.
Yes.
So what do you do about that when you have a Democratic president with a Treasury Secretary who's knee-deep in this stuff?
Well, his top person is Mark Patterson, who came from Goldman Sachs, and the top individual handling the TARP funding was from Goldman Sachs. The President Obama's general counsel has just gone to Goldman Sachs, and prior to this presidency, under President Bush, his chief of staff at the time of the bailout was Joshua Bolten, who had run the office for Goldman in London when these deals were made. The AIG financial arm that did these transactions was in London. Don't tell me they didn't have lunch together. Don't tell me there wasn't communication there when Goldman was the chief beneficiary. So these companies have more power than the people I represent and members of Congress. And they have to be held to task. And I really encourage your listeners, if they have information from their region about what has happened with certain mortgages and patterns of behavior of these companies operating in their region, they give any important information to the FBI in their region, because that will be brought to the attention of the U.S. Attorney and the Department of Justice. I think all Americans have to pay attention to what happened in their regions. They have to look at these institutions like Goldman, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, HSBC, and J.P. Morgan Chase. They now hold 66% of the assets of this country. Prior to this crisis starting, they had 33%. So they had literally come out the winners when they were the wrongdoers.
I know, but the guy who made that decision is also Secretary Geithner. So
that is correct.
How should Secretary Geithner be held accountable?
I think that we have placed on the record in Washington through the Oversight and Government Reform Committee on which I serve, the phone logs of Secretary Geithner during this period of in October 2008, who he was speaking with. People can go and review that. I think the American citizens have to use their power, even though each one thinks they're too little on their own. People have knowledge of what went on. They can call that information into the FBI. It's very interesting who he spoke with in the Congress, Mr. Geithner. It's very interesting who he didn't speak with. It's very interesting who he spoke with on the outside, what the pattern of phone calls was. I think the truth is yet to be determined, but I don't think anybody should be presumed not responsible. And I think we need more investigation. I think we need more oversight, and that is what we are about.
Congresswoman Kaptur, challenging power even when we have a Democratic president. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Stand for the people. First three words of the Constitution, we the people.
Thank you so much for joining us and for bringing us that message. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so very much.